Good morning, everybody. It's John Phillips here from JP Mortgages. Today is Monday, May the 13th, and I've got Abacus Tax Advisors Limited, Mr. Ishtak Faruqi coming in. Ishtak's coming in today.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we're talking about limited companies. Everyone I talk to wants to know the pros and the cons about limited companies. And I always say, you've got to see a tax specialist. This man deals with this stuff, and he's also a property investor. So the object of this podcast is to give you some tips and knowledge about limited companies, portfolio landlords. Ish, thanks for coming in.
No problem at all, my pleasure.
And first of all, I'd like to ask you, basically, about limited companies, the pros and cons, please, if you can talk about that.
So I'll start off very simply. A lot of people think it's very hard to set up a company, and it's a lot of paperwork and sort of hassle. It isn't. It's very, very straightforward. You can have a company set up within 24 hours, ready to go, and literally to start off with.
Wow, that quick?
Very quick, yeah,
Okay.
very, very quick. And again, it's not expensive. It's very, very cheap.
Yeah.
It's amongst I think the UK is amongst the cheapest countries in the world to
Yeah.
set up a company,
Right.
which is brilliant for
Yes.
us.
Most clients are coming to me saying, "Oh, I'm a new landlord.
Yeah.
I need a limited company," and I obviously put them in touch with yourself. But I think today we can cover everything that needs covering.
Yeah, very quickly, I'll
Go for it.
go through the benefits and the disadvantages of operating your property business through a limited company. So where should I start, John? What do you ask me?
I'd like to start about more so the tax side of things,
Yeah.
please, if you could.
So usually the tax is a lot lower in a limited company than holding a property on your personal name. Corporation tax is between 19 and 25%. Personal tax is 20 and 40%.
Right.
So the taxation to start off with.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's a separate entity to your personal side. So that's another advantage as well. So if you ever have a problem or on your property business in your limited company, it's just localized to that company and it doesn't usually expand onto your personal side. So
Okay.
that's called limited liability,
Yeah.
technical term.
Limited liability. Yeah.
Point three, we can discuss more in terms of the limited company can be operated as a business. So usually properties held on your personal name, you can't claim as much expenses as you could if you hold them in a limited company.
Right.
So you can have various things like different employees in a company. That would obviously save you tax. Just to give you a hypothetical example, if you had a rental income of £20,000 and your son helps you with the property business, let's say he isn't working and he's doing a bit of work for you, you could pay him potentially £12,000, so the taxable income is straight away reduced to £8,000.
Wow, that's very good.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to ask me particularly on the
Yeah.
advantages?
What about these landlords at the moment that have got a bit of a mixture? They've got a living company been going 2 or 3 years, but they've also got another 19 mortgages in their own name. Can we talk about them, please?
Yeah, so this is something called incorporation relief. You can transfer all your property business on your personal side into a limited company without paying stamp duty and capital gains tax.
Wow.
That's a very, very, I'd say, beneficial task to undertake to save you tax in the long term. And this is something we deal with and we can assist with.
And is that a long process, would you say?
It would take you between a year and a half from beginning to end. So it's not a quick process at all. You need to have various legal documents drawn up and various other items done by a lawyer to assist us in doing that particular exercise.
Right. And for someone wanting to set their own limited company up, is it something that they should do themselves or see someone like yourself?
I think setting up a company is very straightforward. However, having the right advice by a chartered accountant is very, very important. It gets you into a position where you know what you're doing and you've got some direction.
Right. I've had a client come to me recently who's got property and she set her own property company up, and I went to do the mortgage to put this mortgage in the property, and she set it up in an incorrect SIT code.
Yes.
Can we talk about SIT codes, please?
Yeah, SIT codes. Again, this is probably somebody who set up the company themselves.
Yep.
It can be corrected very easily afterwards. A small fee to company's house, and you can change the SIT code. I mean, that's not a very big issue. It's more an admin correction that needs to be done. But just going back to companies, you know, I mean, you deal with a lot of people in London as well. I know, and Manchester.
Yeah.
Some of the higher value properties are held in companies. You must have come across that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'll see that some purchases of properties, it's not the property that they're actually buying, it's the company that they're buying.
Yeah.
And the reason why people do that is so that the seller is able to charge a higher amount, because the buyer doesn't need to pay the 3 or 5% stamp duty that would be attributed to buying a property. You're actually buying the limited company which holds the property, so your stamp duty is only 0.5%.
Right.
So especially for high value items, sometimes it's worth holding a company, so holding a property in a company and selling the company which is holding the property.
So there's nothing wrong in saying you can have 9 different companies.
Of course, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
And have 2 companies, two properties
Yeah.
in each company,
Of course, yeah.
and sell them properties and the company
Of course.
to that individual.
Of course. And
Wow.
you'll be able to command a higher price because the buyer isn't paying
Yeah.
the higher rate of stamp duty.
Right.
Simple as that. So that's something additionally just to acknowledge as a benefit.
Thank you. And would you say that limited companies are ideal for high rate taxpayers?
So just going back to this, if you hold a property in your personal name, if you're a higher rate taxpayer, you really can't claim any loan interest. So if you had a rental income coming of £1,200 and your loan interest was £1,000, you'd still pay tax on pretty much the £1,200 if the property was held on your personal name. If it's